So, Raya and the Last Dragon just released on Disney Plus for free a few days ago, and I finally saw it. I was never excited for this movie, so I wasn't going to pay for that premiere access price, and I still don't know how we got Soul for free, but Raya and Mulan for $30. But the point is, I watched it, and my question is, what happened to Disney animation? Over the years, Disney has constantly gone up and down in quality. The Golden Age is great, the wartime era is bad. The Silver Age is great, the Bronze Age is bad. The Renaissance is great, and the Post-Renaissance is bad. Then we have the Revival era. When looking at Disney's trajectory, this era should be another great one. And sometimes it looks like it is. We got Tangled, WreckIt Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Moana, and Zootopia, which were all very well received. I have to say, those are mostly good films, while I personally don't love Frozen or Big Hero 6, but now, the three most recent Disney animated films have all been bad movies in my opinion, those being Ralph Breaks the Internet, Frozen 2, and Raya and the Last Dragon. Let's talk about all those three individually. I have always liked WreckIt Ralph, so I was excited to see the sequel back in 2018, and I liked it at first. I thought it was good and fun, but even then, I knew it wasn't exactly a great movie. This barely feels like a sequel to WreckIt Ralph, and it almost seems like the people behind this movie didn't even watch the first one. The characters, especially Ralph, are shockingly inconsistent. Ralph is so annoying and stupid throughout most of the runtime. Even when he's supposed to get an arc near the end, the way it shows his insecurities is so in your face and over the top. This movie attempts to give Ralph kind of the same arc that Marlin had in Finding Nemo, which is to not be overprotective, but this movie doesn't have Ralph as a father figure. Instead, he's like a creepy best friend to Vanellope. All that about the characters, the over-the-top message, and the finale that tries to be thoughtful, it's all pretty terrible. But then we get into the concept of exploring the internet, and this is when I start to really dislike it. Obviously, everyone talks about how outdated this movie already felt when it was just released, and now it's much, much worse watching it in 2021. Every year, Ralph Breaks the Internet will get harder to rewatch because of the references it makes. Some of the ideas with the way they show the internet is pretty creative, I can't deny, but then it has some of the stupidest stuff I've ever seen in an animated movie. Like when Ralph makes $30,000 from less than a day of making garbage videos. Great job, Disney. That's an awesome thing to teach kids. Anyway, I have some fun with this movie, but it's overall a very bad sequel and has some moments that are just as astonishingly awful as the Emoji Movie. I have to say, this is my favorite of the three Disney movies I'm talking about in this video. So, yeah, can't wait to talk about the next one. Yep, Disney made 2 sequels in a row, which was the downfall of Pixar for a while, and both of these Disney sequels were quite bad. I have complicated thoughts on the original Frozen. I think it's a pretty okay movie, but I will probably never watch it again because for 5 years straight, I was completely sick of it, hearing the songs constantly and all that. Then there's Frozen 2, which is actually a terrible, terrible film. I truly think this is one of, if not the worst Disney animated film that I remember. Maybe other than Chicken Little, but Frozen 2 is a garbage film. It has one common issue with Ralph Breaks the Internet, and that is the inconsistent characters. The way Frozen 2 handles the characters is absolutely horrendous. They really did forget that Kristoff was a character. They forgot how to write Kristoff, Olaf, or even Anna and Elsa. There's honestly nothing good about the characters in this movie. There's also almost no plot whatsoever, and that's not an exaggeration either. There is basically no story. There's a voice singing from the distance, and then Elsa decides to follow that sound for no reason. What is her motivation? Why does she want to find where that voice is coming from? This movie is so simple and one-dimensional, There's nothing fleshed out, nothing explained, nothing interesting. I don't even like the climax at all. Elsa gets to that place and learns that she's the sixth element of life or something? Are you kidding me? It's so stupid. I just find this film so lazy. Of course, not in every aspect, but in the storytelling aspect, this is an unbelievably lazy story. There was so much nothingness in this movie, and it was nearly unwatchable for me. All of that is why Frozen 2 is easily my least favorite of the revival era. And finally, we have Raya and the Last Dragon, the most recent Disney animated film. Because this wasn't a sequel, I thought maybe it could be good, but it absolutely was not. Let me get this out of the way, the animation is great. That is easily the only great thing about this and Frozen 2, but yet again, this is a very lazy movie, other than the animation. This film borrows so many obvious elements from other films, which is what a lot of movies do, but in this, it's way too obvious. It's another very bad animated ripoff of Infinity War and Endgame, with the crystals that they have to collect and all that. Man, I thought Trolls World Tour was enough, but no. Anyway, yeah, this movie's very generic, which I hate criticizing that part of a movie, because these days it's hard to come up with a good, fresh story, but what can I say? It bothered me a lot. Alright, can we just talk about the dragon? This dragon called Shisho or whatever, played by Awkwafina, is one of my new least favorite movie characters. My goodness. I think my least favorite movie characters are this guy from Fast and Furious, Cha-Cha the dragon, and Rose from The Last Jedi. Which is funny because she plays Raya in this movie. Boy, I hope she one day gets a good role. Anyway, I just hate the dragon character more than I can even explain in this video, so I won't even try. She is terrible. Come to think of it, I don't like any characters in this movie either. That is a huge issue with all three of these movies that I'm talking about. I think Disney has forgotten how to write good characters. Then this film practically beats you over the head about Raya's trust issues. They repeat it 1,000,000 times that Raya needs to trust people more, and the finale and that message is so in your face, similar to Ralph Breaks the Internet. Once again, as you can see, all three of these movies have very similar issues. Hopefully they don't keep making these same mistakes in years to come. And there you go, that is why I dislike all of the last three Disney animated films. The storytelling and characters have gotten incredibly lazy, and most things the company has done in recent years has been for money first and storytelling second. Their live-action remakes are all worthless cash grabs, and that's why it's a miracle Cruella was so good. Go watch that movie. It's phenomenal. Other than that film, it feels like Disney has been putting less and less effort into each new project. Their mindset is that they can make whatever they want, and they'll still make money, and people will still support their films. Frozen 2, which I think is their laziest film to date, some still call it an amazing movie. I just hope Disney starts telling stories like they used to, instead of focusing on animation as the most important part. But that probably won't happen anytime soon. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I will see you all next time.